Clinch fighting up against the cage is one of the most effective ways to score both takedowns and damage in an MMA fight, for the simple reason that if you control the situation properly, your opponent has nowhere to go. He is effectively pinned against the cage in a similar way that a grappler pins his opponent to the floor in order to attack him more effectively. Just as grapplers understand the importance of the impassable barrier that is the floor that pins your opponent, a cage fighter must understand the importance of the cage behind your opponent's back in order to control him. I'll start this technique with an over-under clinch. That's one underhook, one overhook each. It seems like a neutral position. I will drive my opponent's back up against the cage. I will pin one of his arms with my hand against the wall. I will reach under him with my underhook arm to get a far side grip around the upper forearm. I'm only moving away from the cage so you can see what my hands are doing. I will press my forehead firmly into my opponent's neck between his chin and shoulder. The head position, the underhook, the 2-on-1, and the pressure take away the space and inhibit my opponent from striking back and escaping from the wall. Next, notice how I've split my opponent's legs open, driving all of his weight onto his right leg, effectively elevating his left foot in the air. This allows me to further immobilize my opponent, breaking his posture, freeing up my left hand for strikes, a reverse collar tie so I can knee him, or use the underhook to hip toss him. So from here, over-unders, push him up against the fence, separate this arm, drive it through, get my underhook around the back, be really mean about that, bring this out, boom, strike, I foot, bring that between, separate, thighs, strike, reverse collar tie, knees. Leg, very important. So without pressure, if I'm putting him up here, Chi, get out. Yeah, there's no reason he can't get out. So I need to put two things. One, pressure makes it harder, but two, I gotta split the leg. So my right leg comes in between here, starts walking this up. And you see his left leg, where is it? Chi, get out.
Yeah, I can't.
You can't, because all his weight is on this leg now. And you see his left leg floating up in there in the air? Right? Now, if he can get this left leg back to the floor, he can get up, right? If I let it, oh, boom, it's gone. One more time. But if I separate this, if I bring this up, so it's up there over my quad, yeah, he's stuck because all the weight's on this leg. So now I can tee off, boom, boom, now I've got time. In this sparring session, I used this technique, but I did not separate my training partner's legs as I previously showed you, specifically because of the side headlock that he's holding on to. With the side headlock, he's actually holding himself into position up against the wall. He cannot escape to his right, my left. And so, that side headlock, even though it feels like a measure of security, is actually pinning my partner up against the fence. Whether in a ring or a cage, it is absolutely imperative that you understand takedowns and takedown defense up against the barriers in the arena that you compete in, for the express purpose that up against the barrier, you cannot sprawl, you cannot run, your footwork will not save you. In modern mixed martial arts, most takedowns take place up against the cage for this reason. Unfortunately, in most modern combat sports gyms, the overwhelming majority of grappling takes place exclusively on the open mat. And while those are important, nay, imperative skills to understand, half of a cage fight is the cage, and victory will smile upon those who know how to use it to their advantage. At first glance, the UFC octagon might seem like a huge, spacious arena that you can run around and dance about at your leisure. But if you take a couple of steps back, you will run into a barrier. MMA is literally the opposite of self-defense. In self-defense, you run away from the danger. In a cage fight, you are the danger. There is nowhere to run. You are literally locked in a cage. There is a barrier around it, so use it to your advantage. Thanks for watching. Now get out there and train.